Hey newsmakers, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. I can't wait for today's craft because we are going to be making decoupage seashells. Let's do a quick overview of our supplies. Starting with our seashells, of course. I have a few different seashells today. I'm going to be using a kind of longer clam shell. I also have an oyster shell and this little clam shell. Next up, I'm going to be using decoupage paper. You can also pick up some decorative or seasonal napkins. You can use tissue paper or any scrapbooking paper that's a little bit more on the delicate side. I'm also using Mod Podge. This is going to be our star of the day because Mod Podge is what helps adhere our paper to our seashells. I'm using a satin finish, but you can pick up a glossy finish, a matte finish, whatever you're feeling for your seashells. I also have a spray bottle with some water. This is going to help dampen our paper for it to adhere a little easier to our seashells. It also helps prevent wrinkles. If you don't have a spray bottle at home, feel free to use a wet sponge or a wet cloth to dampen your decoupage paper. I'm using a medium-sized paintbrush to apply my Mod Podge onto my shells. And for any cleanups, I have some water on the side as well as a couple of paper towels just in case. And lastly, I have this beautiful golden acrylic paint, and I'm going to use this to create a beautiful rim around my seashells once they're all complete. This is going to be the finishing touch. It's not completely necessary, but if you do want to add a little glam, a little shimmer, a little gold rim to your seashells, you can pick up some gold or metallic paint of your choice. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I want to set up my station. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of this Mod Podge onto a paper plate so that I can easily grab it. And I'm going to pick one shell to start with. So let's start with our longer clam shell. And I'm going to be applying my decoupage paper to the inside of my seashell. So here's the inside, here's the outside. This shell has a really textured surface on the outside. Feel free to decorate your entire seashell if you want with your decoupage paper, but I'm going to do the inside so that when it lays flat, you can see that beautiful design. Next up, I want to go ahead and choose my design. So here are the 4 different papers I've chosen for today. Let's see, I think I want to do this one with my purple design. This kind of looks like fish scales, so I want to use this one first. From here, you can go ahead and take your paper and kind of measure out how much you're going to need by laying it on top of your seashell, and then you can loosely rip the paper to the size of your seashell or grab a pair of scissors and cut it out. It does not have to fit perfectly. This is just going to lay over top of our seashell so that we can start applying our Mod Podge and paper. All right, so I've cut out a rough oval or circle, and it fits just over top of my seashell here. So now that I've done this, I'm going to go ahead and spritz this little cutout with some water to dampen it. It doesn't need to be sopping wet, just a little bit of extra moisture to help the paper settle into the grooves of your seashells. From here, I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to apply a very thin layer of Mod Podge to the inside of my seashell. This is where I want my design to go. Again, if you wanted to do the outside, you would paint the outside of your seashell, but I'm going to do the inside of mine. Great, so now that we have our Mod Podge layer and our paper is nice and damp, we can apply. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to rest it onto the inside of my seashell, and then I'm going to start gently pushing it down Now, it may have some bubbles, it may have some spots where the paper is a little ripply or wrinkly. That's okay. We're going to fix that in just a moment. I'm just letting the paper settle into the grooves of the seashell, and we're going to use another layer of Mod Podge in order to seal everything in place and soften all of those wrinkles. So now it looks something like this. Now that I have my first layer of Mod Podge down and my paper settled into place, I'm going to take another layer of Mod Podge and I'm going to paint that right on top of the paper to really adhere it to the shell. And this is what it looks like with that second layer of Mod Podge over top of my very first design. I do have a little bit of excess paper, but I'm going to trim that off once it's completely dry. It does look a little milky now that I have my second layer on there, but it will dry clear and it will dry with that beautiful finish of your Mod Podge. Mine will be satin. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside and let it dry. And then while that's drying, we're going to work on our other designs. All right, so I'm going to choose this little shell for my next design. And because this shell is kind of on the warmer side of colors, I'm going to use some nice green paper to really make that color pop. So again, to start, we're going to take our paper and cut out a very similar shape of paper that will fit over top of your seashell. And then we're going to spritz our paper just a little bit. And while our paper is getting nice and damp, I'm going to paint the inside of my seashell with Mod Podge. And now that my layer of Mod Podge is on there, I'm going to take my damp paper and apply it to the seashell. And again, don't be afraid of the wrinkles or lumps. We're going to smooth those out with our second layer of Mod Podge. All right, there's my second layer of Mod Podge, sealing everything into place. Let's let this one dry and work on our final seashell. So my very final seashell, I'm going to be using an oyster shell, and I want to have a little fun with this one. So instead of using just one sheet of paper on the inside of my shell, I want to rip up a couple of different designs and make a little collage or a mosaic design on the inside of this shell. I'll show you what that looks like. So here are my last three designs. I'm going to go ahead and rip up a couple of small pieces of each of these pieces of paper, and we're going to use all of those little scraps in a very fun, funky design on our last seashell. So here are the size scraps that I have ripped up, and we're going to go ahead and spray these with some water and then apply our first layer of Mod Podge onto our seashell. Now that I have my Mod Podge applied and my little scraps are nice and damp, I'm going to go ahead and start puzzle piecing them together and laying them in a layer on my seashell. Same process as before, only this time we're just using smaller pieces and kind of fitting them together, puzzle piecing them together on our shell. It's totally fine if some of your pieces overlap too. You can make a really fun kind of layered look by overlapping some of those little scraps. All right, here is my little collage. All of my little scrap pieces put into place. And now that they are aligned and layered how I like them, I'm going to add my next layer of Mod Podge to seal it into place. And a little tip for this step, because we have all of those layers settled into place, make sure to be extra careful with your second layer of Mod Podge, just so you don't pull up any of those little scrap pieces from their spots. A nice, delicate hand as you're applying. All right, so now that all of our seashells have their decoupage paper and a layer of Mod Podge on the base and on top of the paper, we're gonna let them dry completely. And that's really important because we wanna make sure that the Mod Podge and the paper is sealed into place. So if you have a blow dryer at home, feel free to give them a blast with your blow dryer. You can let them sit out in the sun for a little bit, or grab a snack, let them rest, let them dry completely. And once that's done, we're gonna come back and do that beautiful golden outline. Okay, welcome back. I hope your seashells are nice and dry. Here are my finished and dried seashells, and I did trim all of the extra paper around the edges. So this is what they look like. And now the very final step for our seashells, again, is adding that beautiful golden outline to our seashells. So I'm gonna take my gold and I'm going to pour it onto my plate so that I can paint my seashells. And I ended up grabbing a smaller, more pointy detail brush so that I can get a really delicate edge of gold to each of my seashells, but feel free to make your outline as big and bold as you'd like. And sometimes gold paint can be a little on the translucent side, so if you do want to add a second layer, feel free to do so. You can make your gold shine as bright as you'd like. All right, so our seashells are nice and finished with their golden outline, their golden accents, and I want to show you what they look like. Here's my collage seashell with a beautiful golden finish. Here's my purple seashell with those fun little fish scale designs. Nice, beautiful golden outline around. And lastly, I think this one is my favorite. We have the green seashell with a beautiful floral design. And again, a nice outline of gold around the edges. And that is the end of our craft. So I hope you had so much fun at home making your seashells along with me. I certainly had such a fun time, and I can't wait to use these as little jewelry dishes when I get home on my desk. Feel free, if you need some inspiration for these, use them as little trinket dishes. You can set them on your desk, use them as decor. You can place them in your garden for a little extra decoration for your plants, but I am super happy with how they turned out, and I can't wait to show them off. If you wanted to show us how much fun you had today making your seashells, we would love to see it. Definitely check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @muse_paintbar. Feel free to show off your finished products. Tag us, we may repost you. We would love to see your seashells. Check out our website for more fun painting tutorials and instructional videos just like this one, and also find your nearest Muse Paint Bar location so you can come in studio and paint with us. And I can't forget to shout out our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, share it with your friends, and keep an eye out for more fun tutorials and crafts and videos coming soon, just like this one. And for now, I will wish you a shell-tastic day. My name's Jessica. Thanks for creating with me today, and don't forget to always paint outside the lines. See you next time.